My coworker kept stealing my lunch until I left a note that changed everything. Now the entire office treats me differently. I never thought a tuna sandwich would change my life, but here we are for 6 months. Someone at Westlake Heppies had been stealing my lunch from the office refrigerator. Not every day peril, just randomly enough that I couldn't establish a pattern. One day my carefully packed meal would be there at noon. The next it would vanish without a trace. I tried everything, labeled containers, passive, aggressive notes. Hope you enjoy my lunch. Even hiding my food in opaque bags behind a communal condiments. Nothing worked. Our office of 40 people had a phantom lunch thief, and somehow they always found mine. It wasn't about the food pertain, it was the violation. I am a 32-year-old graphic designer who struggles with anxiety and confrontation. Each stolen lunch left me feeling helpless and embarrassed. I'd end up buying overpriced salads from the Cliff downstairs, spending money I was trying to save for my mother's upcoming knee surgery. After a particularly rough morning where a client rejected my designs and my car wouldn't start, I opened the refrigerator to find my lunch gone again. Something in me snapped. I marched back to my desk, grabbed a notepad, and wrote what I thought would be the most devastating note possible. To whoever keeps taking my lunch, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm not angry, pear time worried about you. If you are taking food because you can't afford your own, please know you can talk to me. We all struggle sometimes. I bring extra snacks now in the bottom drawer of the break room cabinet. Parent, help yourself to those instead. No questions asked. Minus Rachel, I taped it to the refrigerator, feeling a mix of righteousness and vulnerability. Part of me hoped to shame the thief, but another part meant every word. My family had relied on food banks when I was growing up. I know what it's like to be hungry and ashamed. The next morning, I found an envelope on my desk. In by was $40 in cash and a handwritten note. It wasn't because I couldn't afford lunch. The truth is worse. I am a senior account executive making 6 figures, and I've been stealing your food because I have binge eating disorder. On bad days, I eat my lunch by 10 a.m., then feel so ashamed I take whatever's available rather than be seen buying more food. Your kindness broke me. I am starting therapy next week. The money is for the lunches I took, minus Mark. I knew Mark part everyone did. He ran our biggest accounts, always impeccably dressed in designer suits, confident in meetings. I never would have guessed he was struggling with an eating disorder or that he was my lunch thief. I sent him a private message. The money wasn't necessary, but I appreciate the gesture. Your secret is safe with me. I thought that would be the end of it. I was wrong. 2 days later, our office manager announced a new initiative, a community shelf in the break room where people could leave extra food for anyone to take, no questions asked. Sometimes people forget lunches or have unexpected expenses, she explained. This way, no one has to go hungry or feel embarrassed. I later learned Mark had anonymously suggested the idea to AR the following week. The following week, I found a small basket on my desk with tea, chocolate, and a gift card to my favorite lunch spot. The card was signed by Mark and 3 other coworkers. Thank you for reminding us that kindness matters. What I didn't know was that my note had been photographed and shared in office group chats, not as mockery part, but as inspiration. People were touched by the compassion I'd shown to someone who had repeatedly wronged me. The office culture shifted through a food. People started bringing homemade cookies to share. The cutthroat competition between designers eased as we began checking in on each other during stressful projects. Even our notoriously aloof CEO started asking people about their weekends and remembering details about their weekends and remembering details about their lives. Last month, when I mentioned taking time off for my mother's surgery, a collection envelope appeared in the break room. My co-works powered, many of whom I'd barely spoken to before Taryn had raised $1,200 to help with her medical expenses. Mark and I have become unlikely friends. He's 4 months into treatment for his eating disorder and recently gave a vulnerable presentation to the office about mental health stigma. When he mentioned the note that saved me, I felt tears prick my eyes. Yesterday, I was called into the CEO's office, terrified I was being laid off. I instead found myself being offered a promotion to creative director perter, a position I hadn't even applied for. We need more leaders with both talent and compassion, she explained. Your designs are excellent, but it's your humanity that makes people want to follow you. My lunch hasn't been stolen since that day 6 months ago, but I still keep the community shelf stocked with extra granola bars and fruit. Not because I'm afraid of theft, but because I've learned that sometimes our worst moments can reveal our best possibilities, and that kindness, even when it feels foolish, has power I never imagined. The tuna sandwich thief changed my life, but not in the way either of us expected.